Namaskaram, everybody. Hello, can you hear me? Oh, there's some problem here. Let me see what the problem is. No wonder. Namaskaram. Is anyone there or you
Namaskaram.
left?
Namaskaram.
You can hear me well, right? You can hear me well?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
All right. Sorry for the delay. I got carried away doing some kind of analysis to understand details. Okay. Just as a casual note, see, my style is to do it like more like university style, or in olden days they say this is Kalakshepam style, right? Where it's interactive, discussing and things like that, and many other people don't use this method, and they're just orators. They almost speak impromptu, and they seem to be very effective. I hope you like my style.
We like this style. This is really good.
Now I'll start sharing. You can see this now, my presentation. I'll put it on slideshow mode in a minute.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, now you see it in full size, I think. Okay, great. So we're doing Kena Upaniṣad's lecture 2 according to Sampath Engar's view. Okay.
Yes.
Now, yeah. This is the last slide of the last class. So I was trying to say that we need to build a concept framework according to Viśiṣṭādvaita, and also according to the way my grandfather views it. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand how to deal with Śaṅkarabhāṣya. What are the facets of Śaṅkarabhāṣya we need to analyze and things like that. So if we disagree, what do we disagree? So we need to build some concept framework. That's what we're going to do. So suppose anybody wants to gain knowledge, what will they do? They use Pratyakṣa, direct perception through the senses, Anumāna, deduction, inference, and Śabda. Anumāna is inference. Śabda is a textbook, or Vedas in this particular case, because we need to deal with suprasensory items like mind, consciousness, God, and things like that. And so reason is immediate, right? That's the obvious way to gain knowledge. Using reason alone, one can even state Jīvātman does not even exist, right? If you only want, resort to reason, like scientists. Look at the Daniel Dennett's view of consciousness. He says consciousness does not exist, right? And Richard Dawkins also comes to almost same conclusion in a way. That God and other things are unreal. They're just imaginations. People from time immemorial, from thousands and thousands of years, they have used these concepts called God and Jīvātma to dissuade people, to overpower people, to put them down, to control, to conquer mentally. This is how the atheists view. So reason can give you either theism or atheism. But there is a different kind of reasoning based on the Shastras. Suppose you take the Vedas as valid, you come to a different kind of reasoning called Nyaya or Samkhya philosophy or some things like that. That is a theistic philosophies. but they are darshanas which may differ from each other, but they take Vedas, knowledge of the Vedas as valid. So they come up with ideas of, oh, there is a consciousness, there is eternal consciousness, maybe, there may not be eternal consciousness, or the consciousness may have attribute of knowledge, the attribute may be real, long-term or short-term. Different kinds of philosophies come up. So only in the Hindu-Indian context, that's why Hinduism is not a particular religion, right? So in the Hindu context, anything goes. That means you can come up with any concept. You can think freely. You're allowed freedom. You can join any system you want. It's like a menu with 1,000 items in the menu. Oh, I want you go to a restaurant and order this, right? Like that. You can go anything in the menu and figure out this is what you want. So the different systems came like Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Nyaya Vaisheshika, and all these systems applied reason and textbooks, that is Vedas, and then came up with different systems. However, there is one thing known as yoga, which is explained in the yoga text like Yoga Sutras, Yoga Yajnavalkya, and Vishnu Purana, and then several other Pancharatra system. So the yogas is a separate, direct, personal method or pathway to directly realize something which is beyond reason and beyond perception. So many people think that unless you directly perceive something, how would you believe in it? So the yoga system goes on a set of practices and then follow that to find and get directly, not just intuit, directly realize something beyond what we see from the senses. And that goes through 3 steps, which are the last 3 steps of the 8 steps. In the 8 steps, the first 5 steps are sort of preparatory and then in a way preparatory. The last steps is Dharana, Dhyāna, Samādhi, that is concentration, meditation, and absorption. These are higher level steps, and that is generally known as yoga. In this text, that's how my grandfather has used it. So far, okay? I guess this we covered earlier, right? See, I'm trying to build concepts slowly so that everybody appreciates. Not only that, next time somebody asks a question, I will say, go back to lecture number 32 and go to some number of the slide and then figure it out. So that way I create a body of text where we can refer back. We already covered this. These are Deha, Indriya, Prāṇa, Dhībhyo Anyaha. Dehendriya, Manah, Prāṇa, Dhībhyo Anyaha. This is a statement done by Yamunacharya a long time back, I think. So in the Viśiṣṭādvaita, the Jīvātman or the consciousness is different from the body, Deha, Indriya, the senses, mind, intellect, Buddhi, and Prāṇa also. Prāṇa is the one which exists all over our body. It is not just the breathing, it exists all over our body doing different functions. The airs we call. 5 airs: Prāṇa, Apāna, Udāna, Vyāna, Samāna, Prāṇa, Apāna, Udāna, Samāna, Vyāna. The 5 types of airs in our body. In fact, the yoga texts say there are 10 types of airs in our body. So that's a different concept altogether. But the Jīvātma is different from all these, distinctly different. Now, the same thing, I put it in a different representation. By the way, none of these representations are accurate, perfectly accurate. It's just for our conceptual understanding. So what we have done is, there is a Paramātma who is inner controller, is inside. Jīvātma is being controlled from Paramātma within. Then Jīvātma has this layers called the Prāṇa is one layer. There are 5 koshas is a different terminology. I'm using a different ideology here, which is more consistent with the Viśiṣṭādvaita way of thinking. So Prāṇa is one thing, that is a life force or the vital force within us. Buddhi is intellect, Manas is a different, Indriyas, Deha. So we have these coverings. Even this kind of representation may be non-intuitive and questionable, but we're just trying to understand using this. So all these are different from each other. Do we really know that they are different? Do I know my intellect and mind is different? How do we know? How do we perceive them as different? Who is the knower? Who is the thinker? Who is the experiencer? And what is the goal of all these things? Suppose goal means like, I'm in a present state which I don't like, and I want to go to a different state or a different goal. I want to reach a goal, but I need a means to reach a goal, and I want the resources to reach a goal. So all these things are known as tattva, hita, purushartha. Tattva is the truth. That means what we are right now experiencing, if it is already perfectly the truth, we don't need to do anything. We already achieved what we want. Our goal is, say, perfect happiness. I want to be happy in every aspect of its way, every aspect you can think of. And that is already defined long time back when I was in probably lecture number 78 in Bhagavad Gita. We looked at happiness as the eightfold happiness which the Vedas talk about. And that is the perfect happiness. Ashtaguna, we say Ashtaguna. That is only achievable in realization of God realization or in Vaikuntha or something. So there is a process to go from here to there. And tattva, hita, purushartha. Tattva is the truth. Hita is the way to get there. Purushartha is the goal. Tattva is the truth. Purushartha is the goal, that is moksha. So where am I? Where will I go? Tattva will deal with what is truth here, where am I, what is the current state. Purushartha is the goal, and hita is the means to get there. That's how the Viśiṣṭādvaita people have, acharyas have analyzed it. So far, everything is okay. This is past, right? I'm assuming it's okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Now, one other concept I'm viewing it, right? You got to understand Jīvātman as this is an analogy, whether it is Jīvātma or Brahman. Now let us take only Jīvātma. So how does Jīvātma perceive? What is Jīvātma made of? If you say as an analogy, if this is a sun, the sun's core is made of helium, hydrogen, and other gases and metals, carbon, neon. So it is, and it is massively bigger than Earth, right? That's what we know from science today. But it has got a substance. So sun is made of a substance. Like what the Viśiṣṭādvaita people are arguing is, look, Jīvātma or we have a substance, and that substance is also made of jnana, consciousness, in a way. Jnana is separate from matter. So that jnana, with the sun rays are similar to our Dharma-bhūta-jñāna. Dharma-bhūta-jñāna is just generally called jnana. Oh, I have knowledge of this, knowledge of that, and things like that. So like how sun rays shine the objects like the world here, right? Similarly, Dharma-bhūta-jñāna it's constantly associated with the Jīvātma, just like sun and sun rays. And it goes and perceives objects and brings it. So it's going it through our senses. So Dharma-bhūta-jñāna travels from its core is Jīvātma. From the Dharma-bhūta-jñāna goes out through our Indriyas, like eyes, ears, and things like that. and perceives objects. And it even lights up the objects. This rays or this jnana, Dharma-bhūta-jñāna cannot know. It can only show. But the knower is the substance of Jīvātma that is known as Jnana Swarupa. I'm making this very clear to you so that if I use some other terminology later on in our lecture, you can refer back to this. So I think so far we have covered this earlier, right? Yeah. We already covered that the jnana, when it connects with the mind, it becomes buddhi. So buddhi is a form of jnana, but it is colored because it can have the color of matter, because a mind is subtle matter. Mind can have sattva, rajas, tamas. Similarly, buddhi can have sattva, rajas, tamas. So it could be active, it could be thinking, pure in thought and things like that, have a lot of passion or stupor or laziness. So all these things can come into it. So even buddhi can be colored or influenced by mind. That is buddhi, which is already influenced. And jnana is pure. So now, process of knowing anything in this universe, right? The I is triune thought. Triune thought means knower, known, and the means of knowing. Means of knowing means of knowing is known as Dharma-bhūta-jñāna in the Vaishnava tradition, Sri Vaishnava tradition, that is Viśiṣṭādvaita tradition. So I is the knowing subject, what is the jnana swarupa, the substance of us, as what we call as I. So question comes up as, what is this I? Is this an evolute of matter or different from it? Did I spring up from matter or is it completely different from it? That question comes up, right? So now, where from has this I come into being? If it is a creation, was it created? This I was created. Then if it is created, then it is amenable to destruction. It may be destroyed one day. But it is surviving death. So even after death, it goes into a different body. Through Shastra and through yoga and other things, we understand this. How is this to be understood? How sure are we? If this I is different from matter, so are you understanding these questions? It's important that you understand these questions. I shouldn't be rushing through it. Everything okay so far? Hello? Are you hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? I want some. There are at least few people in the audience today. I want some feedback from everybody that your understanding and is making sense, or is there any? It's not making sense. So, if this I, whatever, see, I don't see the Lord now, right? I cannot visualize or realize Paramātman here. I only can see I as a seer or experiencer and the objects around me. Drishya. Drishya is the external world. Drik is the seer. So if I am different from matter, is it the Lord of the universe? So where did this universe come up from? Did it spring up from me as consciousness? If so, is it the I that has created the universe? Is it to be understood that I, being intelligence, has become this many in this universe? So I is this consciousness, and this has become many in this universe. So this universe is actually a product of this I. Can we understand it like that? So these are fundamental questions. If I is not the Lord, and it is also different from matter, looks like, some people say, look, we have so many diseases, so many problems, mental problems, physical problems, so many issues we get into. Why am I stuck in this matter? I don't seem to be the Lord. So if I am not the Lord, who is the Lord of the universe? Is he also the Lord of I? So he is the Lord of universe, same as I, or different from me, and he is the Lord of the universe, also the Lord of me. And if the I and he are identical, suppose I and he are identical, which is the idea of Advaita anyway, right? This principle, is it not the Lord? Suppose I and he are identical, and there is a principle called I, which includes he, includes God. And matter is different. And matter is unconnected, and matter is independent, and it can go and evolve by itself. If that is the situation, we have this I as separate and just matter. There are only two things. And matter is independent, I is independent. Some philosophies agree with it. Sankhya philosophy agrees, the Nirishwara Sankhya agrees that there is no Lord. There is only I and many, many, many I's, like you, me, and everybody else. And we are all stuck in matter. And matter is Prakriti. And matter is independent. I is independent. There is connecting these two. Some people think like that. And in that case, if that is true, is intelligence an evolute of matter? Different questions come up, right? If intelligence comes out of matter, can intelligence understand matter or something which caused it? So unless we know all these things, we don't understand philosophy. So if this I is not identical to he, what is the nature of I? That means if there is a difference between I and Lord, I and God, what is the difference? So if I is different from both matter and master, is it mutable or immutable? Mutable means changeable. So if I is different from matter and master, that is Lord, is this I mutable? It appears, if you look at in reality, one concept is I and he are immutable. That is, God, Paramātma, and Jīvātman are non-changing. Then what is the relationship between them? How did both of them come together then? Or both of them are related to each other? We have to look at it. If I is mutable, how is that it appears as mutable? If I is immutable, if I is non-changing and constant, how is it appears mutable and feels all the effects of mutability? The external world is changeable, right? Every day things change around us. Our relationships, our money, our pleasure, our people, politics, everything around us change. And we seem to experience that change. When we experience that change, we think that we ourselves are changing in a way. How is that? How do you explain that? If he is responsible for all this, that is, the Lord is responsible, is he to be qualified by two traits, partiality and cruelty? Vaishamya, Nairghanya. They say Vaishamya, Nairghanya. Vaishamya means partiality. He helps somebody, he does not help somebody. He punishes someone and he does not punish some other. And he's cruel most of the time. Is he that? If he is not responsible to any extent and I is only responsible for its own conditions, here comes the karma theory, right? Well, Paramatma doesn't really do karma. Jīvātmas do the karma, like the two-bird analogy, sitting perched on the same tree of Prakriti. The universe is Prakriti. And the two birds, one is Jiva, one is Paramatma, Ishvara. So if Ishvara is not responsible and the karmas are all the responsibility of the individual, how is it possible to reconcile the non-changingness of Jīvātma and its knowledge of mutability or knowledge of this universe and the experience of this universe? How do you reconcile this? Is it possible for the I to overcome the consciousness of mutability contingent on its association with matter? How can I get out of this mess I am stuck into? I seem to be stuck inside a body with potential diseases. Yeah, any question? Any question? I heard a sound. Okay. I hope I'm making sense. Sorry. I want to make sure you're understanding what I'm saying. These are all different philosophical questions I'm trying to raise because that's what my grandfather raised in his introduction. I'm trying to, we'll get to the answers later, but these are the potential questions. And have you thought of all these questions, by the way? That's the question.
The questions make sense. Of course, I haven't thought of all these questions.
Any other view?
Yeah, these questions needs to be assembled in a table, and then we have to see the real contradiction between them, actually.
Yeah. So the thing, these are all important. Why am I doing all these things? Because he lays the background to analyze Śaṅkarabhāṣya and then says that why is Viśiṣṭādvaita different? Why are their views different? And what is the basis for Viśiṣṭādvaita's view? This is how we are trying to analyze. It's important for his next. See, why are we doing all these things ahead of time? What we're doing is we're bringing concepts and also we are bringing what is the pathway in yoga. That is, if a person is sitting here and he will finally attain the goal, what is the nature of the goal? What are the steps in between today, where he is, and where a person can attain the final highest goal, which is like 100% happiness in every way. So we need to understand the steps. So these steps are laid out by my grandfather in a way, and these steps are very important for us to understand the text of the Kena Upaniṣad, which we are studying. We are almost like 30-40% done in this, 30, maybe 25% done. I don't know, or maybe more. And we'll be done with the Kena Upaniṣad, his analysis soon. And the whole book is only 89 pages, what he has written in a PDF form, actually. Right? We'll continue. So is it possible for the I to overcome the consciousness of mutability contingent on its association with matter? So look, I'm stuck with matter, that I can realize. How can I get out? Is it possible for me to get out? If it's impossible, then it's almost like pessimistic. Lastly, is the regaining of the lost status of the I
I think there is a problem with the connection.
Yeah, I think so too.
I had lost internet. I am coming up. I'm, I think I should be back in a minute. Hello, I think there's something has happened. My internet went down, and it came back, but I'm not able to